Hi, you're listening to Celluloid Codswallop with James and Gemma. Sit down and enjoy yourself, grab a snack, and have some fun.
So, welcome to this week's Talking Codswallop, and we are again doing Celluloid Codswallop, where we discuss all the interesting, strange stuff things in relation to film and cinema, and all the crazy things that happen in between. So, wonderfully again this week, I am joined by Joanne.
Hi, James.
Hello, Joanne, and we are doing a review of Picard. We are now up to episode 6.
Oh, so excited we're getting there.
We are getting towards the end, and this one is called The Impossible Box. So, without further ado, The Impossible Box.
Yes, that's why I'm laughing. It is, I mean, come on, tell me it's not a euphemism for snooty.
Well, considering the way we discuss the sheer filth that is this show.
There's a lot of boxes going on.
Oh, well, in this episode, yes. And I'm intrigued to see, Joanne, what your take is on certain things that happen in this episode. So I'm going to hit the play button because there's ever have it running in the background. And it was an interesting opening. We've gone from horror porn in the last episode with people getting their eyes and things ripped out, and we've opened to sort of classic haunted house style opening. And we see a little girl who is going down the hall. She's asking for a daddy, going to a room, and it's gone with an interesting, weird sort of tilt to the way it's shot. But it's actually a really well shot sort of piece. This for an opener, very good, clear, lovely lines of colour, and I like the way they've done it. Even though it's obviously within the dark, it's a very good picture. They've got in the usual thing. The girl's got to the door, bit of shadow on her face, and she looks in. Now, not the sort of room you equate to a horror sort of setting, because basically it's like she's got into a greenhouse within a house, and then the little girl's going in, and it's cut in that usual style where you can't sort of see what's happening. There's obviously some guys in the background, and it's Soji. She's the back of the dad. Now, at this point, again, clearly cheese has played a heavy part in the show here, because Soji's having weird dreams.
Yeah, bitches definitely be tripping. Actually, the one thing I have to say, the young girl that plays Soji, brilliant act, really good wee actress. Certainly gives the feeling of when you're a kid and you're you're in your own house and it all seems unreal to you, and you don't recognize it, or it's terrifying. But she looks just like the adult version of her. I thought it was very, very fascinating. But yes, all those orchids in the room, it gives it a kind of a spooky look. And of course, you know that the orchids were referred to by Naj in episode 1 because her dad bred them, and is that a reference to the duality? You know, the twins, and does he seems to breed 2 at a time, and then of course he's got those two young girls. So are they the orchids? Something that's been spliced by Maddox, but of course she doesn't realize at this point that there's a connection with Maddox. Doesn't realize at all.
What I liked also, the girl they cast, it's the same thing with the actress who plays Soji as an adult. They've got very sort of big, expressive eyes. So again, I think that really helps, but they also had lovely eyes. Now, we're back in basically the dark and trippy Hellraiser style, dressed, interestingly, always, as you put it out before, always seem to be wearing cast-off sportswear clothing when they sleep.
Yes, another one that's still out, that's still sponsored by Sports Direct. Definitely. I don't know whether they're some sort of scrotes on the run, or as we would call them over here, a couple of Asbo kids. She's once again in her sports bra. As I still think it's fantastic that they can have sex with their clothes on in today's modern society. But yes, he once again is drilling her. I'm doing bunny ear quotes here with my fingers. And to put some doubt in her head as to what she really is. If that was me personally, I'd be just telling him to fuck right off.
Because he he sort of weirdly says to her, doesn't he? I'm not that person. That's not Narek is not my name. And sort of, he basically left her. He's trying to mess with her head, isn't he?
Yeah.
What I also found really interesting was when he's left the room, and you were, a point discussed about things being shown up in the dream. It's very interesting. On her bedside table, she has a picture of her and her sister and her mum, but she also has a mannequin, a wooden, sort of like those posable model figures.
That was a nice bit of foreshadowing in their part. Nice little tweak there that you don't realise at the time, but really that's part of a puppet almost.
Oh, yes, it certainly is. And I'm sure this brought great pleasure to you, Joanne. We cut to your favourite character ever.
Oh, God. Agnes. Why? And there's a scene. I'm sure you know rightly what I was thinking. There's a scene later on with Agnes, and I'm thinking, no way, I want to throw up. It turned me completely. I just didn't like it at all.
Oh, yeah. When I saw that, I was so looking forward to our discussion. So looking forward to it. But
Man will literally fuck anything.
They're all sat around the table. They're discussing basically the death of Maddox, and she's feigning she's really upset. Not discussing that she's killed him.
Exactly. Oh well, it was really terrible. Yeah, he just didn't die quick enough for me. Is what she's thinking. I still think that's a plot hole with not having the EMH. Richard Better, that's right, the EMH. Not interrogating him. The fact that he was a witness to Maddox's murder, I still think that's a wee bit strange and a bit of a plot hole.
It is, because you would think the EMH would have some sort of like hard drive that kept a record. If you think about it logically, you would expect there'll be, if the EMH sees something going down that shouldn't be going down, he'd alert someone else, definitely. But you'd also think that there'll be some record that at some point the captain or somebody else would go, wow, the poor old Maddox croaked it. There was only one person with him, which was Agnes. Maybe we should have a look at the... it looks like security footage almost, isn't it? Let's just have a look to see what's happened.
Yeah, because surely it's almost like a form of autopsy. He had injuries. They're not exactly sure what all the injuries were. Surely, to goodness, they would want to know for the medical records.
Yes.
It was a plot hole for me. Why? I think the worst thing that they did was bring the EMH in at that bit. If they could have got away, we would have been cited the EMH not appear, and then you'd have been speculating, maybe she was able to turn him off in some way. The fact that he was there, sloppy, I think, really sloppy in the writing.
You're right, that is sloppy writing. It would have made more sense to just not have the EMH there. It would have given her a total out for what she'd done.
I don't think she's too worried about it in some ways. The fact she's killed Maddox, I think she feels justified in her actions. She's upset, but she feels justified because of what she was told by Captain Roy Orbison, or Commander Roy Orbison. No, what do you call it? Commodore.
Mr. Orbison, yeah. Or Mrs. Miss Orbison. But the interesting thing is, they do say it gets easier after the second one, don't they? And we know that Agnes has already killed... We know Agnes has already killed one person.
Yeah. And they always say that about blowjobs as well. Once you get past the first one, you'll be grand. Just swallow on, you'll get used to it. Second one on, you'll be grand.
I can't comment on that because I have no frame of reference. So.
I didn't think you'd heard me the first time I said that.
I did. I just thought, I can't really comment. I have no frame of reference. This. So, to try and make it slightly, I'll drag us slightly out of the film, only slightly. They're also, so basically, Tickle Me Elnor, whatever the hell it is Elnor, isn't it? Tickle Me Elnor, we now christened him, appears. And they discuss the Borg and the impact it had on Picard and the fact that he was assimilated. And I love this for reaction because Agnes, he sort of said, I'm really sorry we had to learn all about you in sort of school and stuff and what happened with the Borg. And she's saying, well, maybe the Borg could have changed. And I love the fact that you got a real emotional response from Picard. It made me think of the emotional responses he had in the film First Contact, where he's...
Yes, correction as well.
Yeah.
Correction to the last one. Just really angry. This is a man that had been pushed to the edge, whose humanity had been taken off him, and who's suffering still from PTSD, even 30 years on. You don't get over something like that.
And it's again the sort of way that Picard, First Contact, he's saying all these things happen, and we sort of like we back off. We won't sort of like stand and sort of fight. And well, in this case, he's saying there is no excuse for the behaviour that these people bring up. Elnor again shows his lack of full understanding. I think they're trying to make him a bit of give him slightly comedy elements because he talks about, so did I butt in? But you are right in what you said about the fact that Picard is really he's showing extreme PTSD.
Just on the edge.
Because when he goes back to his fake office, his fake office study thing in there.
I love that. That's the FO.
Yes, from now on it'll be the FO.
The FO.
So he sits in the FO, but he's having a real breathing problem, isn't he? Because he's sort of panting and, hyperventilating a little, I guess.
The one thing I actually noticed about Picard in this episode, now maybe he has been all the same all the way through, but I noticed how very old Picard was. In this one, he just seemed worn down a bit more. And it actually in some ways isn't bad, because by this time somebody of his age who has gone through all this, whose hips don't seem to break, who eats a lot of cheese. Maybe there's something in cheese. Maybe we just need to eat more cheese. It'd probably help us too.
Calcium. Calcium.
Fucking brilliant. That's true. But he just seems older to me in this episode.
I noticed that too. So I have a feeling that, because I was thinking, is it just me? That must be an intentional thing to show that he's worn down by all this. And it will have obviously had an emotional impact on him. And you see a brilliant, I think this is wonderful stuff. When he goes to his computer, he asks it to search for, I'm going to call it the reservation, but I've got the name wrong, but the air in question.
The artifact?
I'm not even close, am I?
A reservation. Maybe there's a gambling casino on it as well to try and raise funds for the locals.
Hang on. Can I just ask, Joanne, will you be my Irish home help who looks after me?
I fucking could.
Because I can't remember anything now.
I could be your space Mrs. Doyle. Go on.
So, was it the artifact?
Oh, yes, it was the reservation. By the time he gets on to it, he has kind of made a reservation.
Yes. It's like you patted me on the head there. Good boy. Yeah.
That's it.
So he asks for the searchers of the artifact, the Borg, and whatever the third thing was, and it comes up with stuff. And he goes onto his computer and he sees Hugh in his original Borg format. Then he gets to see Hugh as he is now, and he's looking at sort of other bits of the reverse technology and the work on the Borg. And then it cuts to him as Locutus and does this really cool sort of overlay of image.
Yeah, did really appreciate that. It's so clever.
Yeah. But I love the moment when he touches his face, when he's looking at it, which is what I'm looking at right now. And it shows, doesn't it, that the emotional impact and the physical impact this has had on him. I get with that, so I got the impression Picard's reassuring himself that he's okay. It's
almost like phantom limb syndrome, because he could probably still feel where they were. You know, when somebody loses an arm or a limb, they can still, and they get itchy. So I wonder, was he sort of getting phantom limb implants sensation?
I don't think of that. That's a very good point you've got there, because if you think about, the thing, just a side note that I always like. Well, not like, but I've always noticed with Locutus against any other sort of Borg, when you look at the other Borg, they all look like, they've all got limbs hacked off and eyes missing, and even when they're trying to put them back together, they're still looking a bit knackered. He's the only sort of one, when he was Locutus a Borg, who didn't seem to have had too much ripped off him. He still had both eyes, didn't he? And obviously that's because they want to make Patrick Stewart obvious as Patrick Stewart and probably emote with his eyes more. But I always thought it was an interesting little thing. Obviously there's other reasons behind it, like I said, but Picard was lucky in that element. Although he did have his arm chopped off, I think, didn't he?
I think he did. He probably was, the Borg probably called him Le Cute Ass.
Is that why they've seen him hung up?
Yep, that was that scene in Torture Garden. Forever, he would be forever known then as Le Cute Ass.
The other thing that to analyse the thing with Locutus, of course, he was designed to be a bridge, wasn't he, between the Borg and humanity. So maybe they wanted to retain more of his human elements and features. It's still a bit of an odd link between, bridge between humanity and the Borg. We've taken one of your people, we've assimilated them. But we'll try and create some sort of link, but it's still like a bit of a, an FU to the human race, isn't it? Because we want him like you anyway.
Yeah, he's kind of become a honey trap for humans. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that good-looking Borg there. Aha, come with me and you'll be assimilated. And that the sexual way he wasn't a come on.
Yeah, we will service you. No, you must service us, sorry.
I'm going to assimilate you well from behind.
So, I'm just preparing not just our lovely, sweet, gentle, salty tadpole listeners. I'm preparing Joanne for this next part to get herself emotionally ready. So, we cut to the captain. Yeah. See? Send to yourself, darling. Send to yourself. So the captain's playing football.
Oh gosh.
Shirtless football.
I have a hard on for that bit, but later on, I definitely would have impotency. I'd never get a hard on again.
So the captain is playing shirtless football, and in walks Joanne's favourite character ever, Agnes. The sharing a drink, the captain is, well, prior to the captain's going, I'm really sorry I didn't wait, hope I didn't wake you up, and no, we're okay. She's doing that long staring look because he asked her about Maddox, I gathered you were close and you can talk to me all about it. And then I just want to say, I was right, because I did early on say this.
Oh, dear goodness. She kisses him, and I thought I would fucking slap you for that if I was the captain, because you're one horrible, horrible woman. I don't find her attractive. Now, I do find women attractive, and I do not find that one attractive at all. If I had maybe made her look more like 7 of 9, that's fine. I would have probably forgiven her everything. Probably would have forgiven her for wiping out half the galaxy, but Agnes, no. Get your filthy damn mitts. Was it your damn... Oh, no, there's a quote from Planet of the Apes now that's just completely gone.
Yeah, well, the one you're looking for is "Take your hands off me, you damn dirty ape."
That's it. I was getting back to front, but yes. So she comes on to him, and then she plays that. Oh no, I couldn't really sleep with you at all. Well, okay then, maybe just for a wee while.
On a pure visual standpoint, I had to laugh when he dropped the football. If you step back and look at this, so imagine this situation. So Maddox, who I don't know if it's supposed to be known that, Agnes said relationship with Maddox, but obviously he knows that they've been close. So let's look at this logic. So Agnes is the last person who was with him when he died. She seems to be happily throwing herself at the captain. I know about the rebound theory, but I'd be a little unsure whether I'd want to be around Agnes, if I'm honest. Could be a bit risky.
Yeah, she's a Black Widow.
Yeah.
Just really, that's what she is. Well, she has a strange effect on men.
Kills them.
She fucks them, and she fucks them hard. If you're really lucky, it's sexually. If you're unlucky, she pulls the plug on your life support system.
Unless, do you think she could have a batch of cookies that she's tempting people with?
She's like a really bad Little Red Riding Hood in her basket.
Oh God, yeah. She could even pull off that look, couldn't she? Because she looks young, and what she does is, I've noticed she does that big eye crap, doesn't she? To go with the Doctor Who quote, how do you do when he's taught? This is from a while back. I'd watched a thing of it online recently where he's talking to Clara and he goes, "You're doing that thing with your eyes. How do you do that? They almost inflate." It's that sort of thing.
She's got the whole manga character look about her right now.
God, yeah.
She's one of the Pokemon characters, one of the really nasty ones. I'm at that age where I don't really understand Pokemon, so please feel free to choose whatever one you think is most suitable for this conversation.
But you are right. Agnes has got an almost not quite real look to her. Like she's... Oh, God, maybe we've stumbled on something.
Oh... She's a synth.
Could it be?
Wow. Here, see if it isn't. If you're listening to the CBS, fucking write that in, because that'll floor everybody. No one will guess that at all.
But I just had a think. I mean, I could be wrong quite easily. But think about it. She learns something about the synth stuff. She'd be a perfect sleeper agent as a doctor, and she doesn't quite look like you would expect someone to look.
That actually worries me slightly, because so far this is Naj and Soji, which means who the hell is the other Agnes out there? And please don't let us meet her.
Well, anyway, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Who will know? Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? I just find it scary that we've been pretty good on stuff so far that's turned out to be true. I'm still waiting for the orgasm Borg, though. Anyway.
Yes, the Lannisters in space.
The O-Borg.
Well, the O-Borg, that's right. I forgot about that.
So we've gone from Agnes, who is not loved by Joanne, and I can take her or leave her, find her a very bizarre character, to the two most screwed up people, I think, probably in the entire show.
They are so good. They are so good together. I mean, that sister. I mean, like, you would, wouldn't you? If that was your sister, you would definitely want to.
What I do like about them, I've worked out to be a Romulan, you've got a very good bone structure.
Oh, fabulous. And eyebrows and cheekbones, and you're set.
Yeah. Again, creepily, we turn up in the bedroom for these two.
There's that. Jaime and Cersei Lannister were in bedrooms less than these two in all 6 seasons of Game of Thrones. These two definitely have touched more in all sorts of ways. There are a lot of sexual innuendo in this particular scene as well, talking about Soji's impossible box and fiddling with it as they were sent to get her open. I thought, okay. I can't tell half the time whether she's turned on or very jealous or both.
I mean, you are right about the weird sort of touching things. She's talking about the weird little, like, you know, basically it's like a Rubik's Cube thing that he's got. But again, she does like the way she reaches and touches his face and stuff. The whole thing, it's like a very weird, is always a really weird sort of flirty element between them. There must be something that's not expected about the fact that she dreams, doesn't she? Which
yes, that was not. The sister doesn't quite see the importance actually of the dreams, but Narek does. He can understand. What does he call her? Her neural pathways are autoheuristic, always seeking and forming more efficient connections, which is somehow given her an unconscious mind. Yes, I'm just reading. You can probably tell. Yeah. And memorize any of that. But it's interesting just that the AI is so sophisticated that it learns, and the subconscious has become part of that, and it's filtering old memories and making new memories, and possibly new memories to give herself cover, because instinctively she may know she's under threat.
Because what he's saying is that by the fact she can dream, and they call it like a backdoor trap system on computers, where you can, like, I'm assuming the idea is that he can sort of like he can like mess around with the brain enough to get the required information he needs. But basically, yeah, the sister's just basically, wrapping him around her finger, really, sort of saying, yeah, you're going to find all this stuff out. It even makes the mocking comment earlier on about, what you're going to do, have like weird, freakish robot families, sort of thing.
That would be quite good if they all looked like the tiny Soji, be really attractive looking wee kids.
Yeah, with weird ears.
Yeah, I don't really find Narek very attractive, to be honest. I'd do his sister, but I wouldn't do him. I don't. It's the eyebrows. There's too much hair going on. His sister got all the good looks in the family.
Definitely. Now, the weird little box opens and it has like it's like a cross to a music box and the box out of Hellraiser, isn't it, really? Going back to the Hellraiser analogy. It's like a strange one.
Here's a thought. If you remember, I've just thought of this. Remember in the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the funny farm part of the artifact, there was all the Romulans who had been assimilated, and one was playing with a cube. It must have been one of those.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So everything does sort of interlink. Now they cut back to the ship where our collective merry band of people are there, and they're working out that it's going to be incredibly difficult to get onto the ship. The cube, the reservation cube, as I lovingly will now refer to it. And what's the artifact, isn't it? So they're basically saying that, like, to get onto the reclamation, the artifact, it's going to be like pretty much impossible to do it. And they want to try and get diplomatic credentials, which would be pretty impossible. None of them have any sort of diplomatic credentials or diplomacy anymore. They don't work there. They don't work for the Federation. So they drag out.
That was a bad scene. There's another reason why that was a bad scene, that they dragged Raffi out. They effectively crucified their friend there and then. Supposed to be supporting her. Here she is, the burnt out cop. We knew this, that she was train spotting in that room. We talked about it the last time. Poor woman, seeing babies walk across the ceiling, fighting suppositories in toilets, whatever, all the weird things that happened in train spotting that time to Ewan McGregor. And they dragged her out of her room so that she could wangle a diplomatic pass to get on to the artifact. And she lost a friendship out of that. basically give her a round of applause. There's no support. There's none of this. Look at her. She's fucking half out of her tree. Could you have even trusted her? The state she was in, they're very unfair. A friend of mine as well, he also made the comment on Facebook the other day that the actress, you'd think she'd never been drunk in her life, because she doesn't seem to know how to act like somebody who's drunk. And that's true. The acting, every time they give her something that's not a straight bit of acting, I think she struggles. And the actress struggles. She doesn't know how to do somebody stoned. And having seen people stoned, that's not somebody stoned.
I mean, you are. I mean, I do think you see this brilliant jump from someone who's supposed to be like wasted to managing to hold it all together brilliantly and sell it. And I like that fact she takes a shot at JL, so which he looks rather shocked at. She referred to him as being like really like basically like ego driven, isn't she? And saying it's all id based with regard to him, which he looks rather shocked at. But you are right, because she basically strong arms this commander to help and get some fake stuff for Picard to get in, because what she's basically saying is, oh, well, we're going to be there in 3 hours, and that really puts the pressure on the commander to help them. And basically then just says, it's over. As you said, our friendship is over. And you realised how incredibly damaged she is as a person, don't you?
Yeah, it's sad, because that other Starfleet officer, Emmy, her name was called, her concern is the fact that they're coming out of the neutral zone into Romulan airspace, and that's an act of war. Without any approval to start off with. And effectively, Raffi has blackmailed her. But then, in some ways, she's a victim of blackmail as well. Her colleagues, her comrades had put her in a situation, and she feels obliged to have to do it. So a wee bit of emotional blackmail on their part. I think they're shower bastards, for doing that on her. Apart from Tickle Me Elmo, who has the fucking clue what's going on anyway. Yeah.
But you do see, I mean, Raffi's broken emotionally, and you can see it's hit her when her friend's basically saying, don't contact me again. She said they'll give her a big round of applause and make out she's great. But I think the captain is the only one who really recognises what a state she's in. I recognise that Jean-Luc has to, I mean, he looks... He shows a look of relief, but I think he's probably feeling guilt. But yeah, they do seem to have hung her out to dry a bit, and she's in I found it a sad scene, so I'm glad to see I'm not the only person who felt that you just see what a mess she is. She's an emotionally fragile person. I'd suspect she's got some sort of mental health problems bubbling under the surface.
Mm-hmm. Actually, no, she's just lost another friend.
Yeah. Couple of the fact that if you think about the difficulties she's had when her son's basically told her to never darken his doorway again, she's going to be in a bit of a state, to put it mildly.
Yeah, I suppose. You know what? This captain did the decent thing. He took her back to her room. Her back to her room. I was going to say his room, but that was your other woman. Out of him, he made her a coffee. Or did he make her? Or later on, he makes her coffee. Yeah, but
later on.
But that wee act of kindness isn't really enough to make up for what she's just lost.
No, and really, Raffi, the entire people are there owe a hell of a lot to her, because she's the one who's pulled most of the stuff together. I mean, you see, I'm going to quickly gloss over it, but you see a wee bit of interaction between Narek and Soji. But yeah, she is. She's in a state, and she's in the room, and she's saying to him, to the captain, who's called Chris, which I'd forgotten, that basically, I've got a child who's now an adult. He's disowned me. I'm in a real mess, and it's something that obviously she's unburdening herself to him. And yeah, it's difficult. It's an awful situation, because really, as difficult as things have been throughout the show, this is the first time we've really seen a big emotional reaction from that character anyway. But yeah, to drag it down, to drag it into away from our usual happy-go-lucky laughing at it thing. I did find this a very difficult thing to watch. I felt deeply sorry for her.
Yeah, me too. And he even sort of blows her off a wee bit. We all can't get it right. Well, mate, we all can't get it right, but that doesn't mean to say that you shaft me whenever I'm down.
Yeah.
You're one of my oldest friends. I expect you to look after me. And how much is makes me wonder in some ways, how much is he doing this for the thrill and how much of it's for the money? I think he's a rogue, or possibly he's wanting to try and be a rogue to get away from his hero side. It's just a wee bit of a mishmash. The characters in some ways aren't consistent. I know people generally are out in life, but it's hard to sort of find a baseline with them. Like there's maybe different writers writing them at certain times than there is others. I don't know. The support cast to me has become very cliched, just generally. Yeah. I don't think they're very well fleshed out. I think they've had an idea that maybe, okay, we need this sort of character, we need that sort of character, we need one of this age, we need one of that ethnicity or whatever the word is. Other than it doesn't matter who the person is or what they are. Let's just write a really good character and then point the best person for the role. Doesn't matter. Yeah, rather than, because I'm not even convinced in some ways we've maybe got the best actors for the role.
I mean, I think probably there's also changes in some of the consistency over the fact that obviously it's a different director for each episode, so it depends what they're going to want from that person. I mean, I think the people are trying the best they can with what they've got. I'm not trying to take a big knock at the people.
No, I think it's difficult whenever your scripts aren't great. I mean, it's something that certainly is easy to level at Doctor Who at times. The last 2 seasons, some great ones this season, but Capaldi's first few seasons, the writing just let him down. And you can have the best actor in the world, but if the writing isn't good, it struggles. And to be honest, for this episode, I struggled until later on, until it started to catch my interest again because of the cliche. And I thought, you're really not going anywhere with this series. And I'm starting to get a wee bit annoyed. I would have still been watching by now, only because of my love of Trek. Is that what's keeping going? Because at times there's not an awful lot to engage me. One of the best characters is definitely the sister Narissa.
Yes.
The kinky Romulan. She could just dominate the scene. If you just put her in 7 of 9 in every episode, I'd die happy.
I know she said dominator scene. I definitely could see her being the dominating one.
Yeah. I think her and 7 could run some club. Like they really could.
If they're running a club, I'm signing up for membership straight away. I want to be in that club.
You and me both. I would gladly be a sub on this occasion.
They can do whatever the hell they want to me.
It's those ears. On certain women, those ears. And they don't have there's the other thing. They don't have the ridges on their forehead. So they must be the awkward northern Romulans. Laris was talking about. Hang on. Is it the northerners that have the bumpy bits?
No, the northerners have the bumpy bits.
So Narek and his sister are southerners then? That explains why she's so good looking. Sorry about my northern folks. But that explains why she's so good looking.
Sorry. Right. So we go from the ship, the land of depression, to even a bit more depression. And I love that watching this scene now as it's in front of me, and I've not noticed this until now, and if you stare at it too much, it really messes your eyes up, but they do something called the Dutch tilt, which is where the camera goes to a funny angle. And it comes from a thing that they used to do on the old Batman series where they sort of like slant the screen.
Ah.
Yeah, it's where you get like an angle shot. They used to do it a lot on the old Batman 66 show called the Dutch tilt. So Soji is sat and she's clearly not feeling good. She knows there's something wrong. And she's on the telephone, so to speak, to her mum. She's saying, I don't feel well. I'm not feeling good at all. And her mum says to her, why don't you try going to sleep? Lie down. You're working too hard. And for some reason, Soji stabs herself in the hand or thumps herself.
She does. And that's the reason why she did that as well. In this scene that was earlier, Narek mentions about her dreams. They're talking about her dreams. Just why don't you talk to your mum?
So she's making sure she's awake.
Yeah, because he had mentioned before that the calls are only lasting 70 seconds. So she's thinking, right, if I can stay awake and I'll prove him wrong. Well, that's my understanding anyway. And so she can feel herself starting to doze off. Yeah. So she stabs stuff in her hand, which I felt like doing many a time in work, to be perfectly honest, in the afternoon, stabbing myself in the hand to stay awake because I'm disinterested. But she I think it actually doesn't work. She falls asleep. She still goes to sleep. Isn't that right? And wakes up later.
Well, the question I started to really ask myself watching this scene, and we'll see. I want to see what your view on this is, Joanne. I don't think Soji's mother exists in any sort of real form.
No, she's an AI.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yep. I thought, was there maybe it was something I've read. The mother is definitely an AI, and whenever the AI comes to life, it means that the twins are in trouble. So they
Right.
function along okay, but once the AI comes in, it's because that there's other factors that they need support, or maybe it's running diagnostics on them at the same time.
Possibly. It was just this. I mean, the big giveaway of it being an AI is like the way it sort of did this weird, like, flicker interaction thing with towards the end of the conversation. She's out for the count. And then we cut back to, obviously, the intrepid crew with Picard turning up to the Borg reclamation, whatever the hell it is, cube. And the set deal is that Picard can only go into the cube on his own, and he has again a real PTSD response, doesn't he? He's having flashbacks to his assimilation and when he was Locutus, and you can see it's really taking its toll on him. And it's interesting how much you see it taking its toll on him now, as opposed to, and I'm going to go back to discuss it, but in First Contact, with all the situations with the Borg, he had a few flashes where he discussed assimilation issues, and obviously gets upset, or he smashes up his office, sort of thing, the ready room. This is the first time, whether it's the fact that Picard's got older or the pressures he's feeling being so close to the cube, but you see that the emotional impact it's having on him yet again, because he has a look of real anguish.
He does. And it was very, very well done, because it has all sorts of images from the films and also the TV series as well. I mean, archive images seen on that's on the computer. But it just, I mean, some of the areas, I'm just reading something here. It's First Contact, and it's there was different episodes. I thought I actually had a note of them there, of where he could see his own crew being assimilated, and then his own assimilation, and constant flashbacks. And it was nice because it tied into Picard's history and the old TV series as well. So for anyone who had watched them previously, they went, oh, I remember that. That was a nice sort of little throwback. We get a wee bit of gift there for the fans.
And what I also noticed, going back to what we discussed earlier about the fact that Picard looked a lot older in this episode. Now, I suspect it's partly in the way that he's been shot and the way he's been dressed, because they've dressed him in darker colours, so he looks slimmer, but he looks a lot frailer.
Yes, he really does.
And the point after he's, and I've sort of just been seeing it in front of me now, but there's a point where he crosses to walk to see Elnor, and he looks like this very much a little old man, the way he's holding his body. He's got his hands in his pockets, and he's looking in a way we've never seen Picard look that sort of vulnerable before.
It's sad. It really is. And if that's acting, it's particularly good acting. If not, it's the person themselves. Maybe at that point, Patrick Stewart was just exhausted from the shooting, because you think about it, he features in so much of it.
Yeah.
And at that age, that's a long day shooting all the time on the set.
True. It's hot. It's like a convention. It's hot. It's sweaty. There are lights. You're in costume.
Yeah. There's flus knocking about. There's weirdos.
And if it's, in fact, the way you can look at a convention being even more like the Borg cube, it's hot, it's dark, there are people in, skin-tight costumes. It's probably a bit smelly and sweaty.
That's a good point, actually. Do the Borg use deodorant, or have their armpits been simulated?
Well, I would hope they've been shot full of, like, some sort of, thing that stops them sweating. But, oh, God, can you imagine? Oh, God, can you imagine how smelly they'd be?
Well, you had mentioned before that you thought the artifact was very, well, we both had talked about the fact that it was very student accommodation, and it smelled of sweat, old beer, and sex.
Oh, God, I bet when you walk in, you can, not only smell it, but I bet you taste it, but the air's thick. You breathe it through your mouth.
Yeah, and formaldehyde with all the, the body parts.
Yeah. So basically, it's not where you'd want to spend your holiday, that's for sure.
Just be bored. It's a sexy morgue. Oh gosh.
Oh my God! You know what? If you had sex with the bog, would you technically be committing necrophilia?
Yeah. Well, imagine all the devices and the tools that they use.
Well, that might just get a bit interesting.
Exactly. There's so wee spinny whirly things that I think they could, depending on the speed, could come in very useful.
Oh dear! It would just go to such a dark place, but.
Well, it is. There seems to be no lights in the artifact either, so yeah, it's a pretty dark place.
All I say is it's so wrong it could almost be right.
Again, we're always fucking right, admit it.
Yeah. So, speaking of student accommodation, Sochi's room really does look like a student accommodation to me. You know, bed, chair. I mean, it's a nice big student accommodation, but, you know, bed, computer, everything's all in one room. And she starts going over all her photographs, which strangely look like 20th century photographs to me, but we'll put that to one side. Through a thing that tells you the age, doesn't it, of the items. And I'm going to do a Kevin Smith moment. 37 is the magic number here.
She also has all these shit drawings as well up around the wall, but yes, 37. And judging by her response, whenever she finds out everything's 37 months, even her necklace, she's going through the terrible threes because she threw that wobbler and destroys everything like a bad-tempered toddler.
But yeah, it's 37, so everything's come for 37 months, and it's not, you know, the magic 37 is not the Kevin Smith 37 dicks in a row. It is just the age of this stuff. But how unbelievably terrifying must this be? You know, if it was real, that everything that you think you know, all these years of memories you have, are just 37 months worth of time. You know, things have all been produced. It also means that Narek is a paedophile, but we'll put that to one side for a minute.
Paedophile and incest. See, the thing is, if Narek hadn't been there full of all that information and twisting her mind, which you've maybe just thought that the reader was malfunctioning because it came up for the exactly same reading every time, you'd probably think, this thing's fucked. It's just not working right. Oh my good grief. I've only been alive for 37 months.
Yeah.
Under normal circumstances, you just think that this is wrecked.
Excuse me, well, you would initially think, oh, there's just a malfunction here, but I wonder if on top of the mind games, on top of the way she's been feeling, she obviously, unfortunately, realises this is the route of the situation. But putting aside the fact that she's hanging around with some dirty pedo, other than the fact that he's a paedophile, he will be dirty being on that ship, because we all know how funky and disgusting he is. We then see Picard beaming, and he has another horrible PTSD flashback moment where he actually physically drops, doesn't he, through the turmoil, the emotional turmoil he's feeling. But I also wonder, he still has some sort of link to the collective, whether he's having flashes of things that are going on around him.
Yes, and that was the bit, I was referred to. That's bits from the series that he's seeing and the films. So those flashbacks. He nearly falls off the that walkway as well. It's quite a dangerous moment for Picard. He's quite precarious. We wonder, is he going to fall to his death, ironically, on the artifact? But probably not, because he's the main character. But
oh, yeah.
Yeah. You believe the struggle is real at that point. You genuinely think, yes, this is a man who's gone, and he's just been faced with his worst fears. The last thing Jean-Luc would want to ever do is go on to a cube again. And probably he doesn't completely believe that it is, severed from the collective, that maybe there's a part of it that's still alive that'll get him, like the boogeyman.
Well, it would be understandable. I mean, he's been through so much that it is going to be... It's like basically you walk back into your worst nightmare, haven't you? You have no control. You don't know what's going on. And now there is a shot. You're right. He's having all these flashbacks to things from the film, things from the TV, things from First Contact, and things from the show that intertwine what's happening. And he gets his arm grabbed. Now, I think they intercut it with a scene, or it's a scene they've filmed, where I would wager that the arm that you see grabbing, where he sort of goes like, "Get off me," to this arm. Just only this arm grabbing is probably Alice Krieg's arm, or it's designed to look like Alice Krieg's arm, who was the Borg Queen. it's a woman's arm. It's a long, sort of slender arm. Now, I could be wrong, but I wondered if that was the idea. And I thought that when I first ever saw the shot. But it turns out these people, he has a voice shout to him, these people, these Borg, that says they're only there to try and help you. They don't want you to fall over. And it turns out to be Hugh. And Hugh and Picard have a very nice greeting scene, and where they even hug each other. And I found out that actually came from something that Jonathan Delarco, who plays Hugh, had said, I want to have some sort of greeting with you. And they talk about it being a friendly face. And he'd actually said to Patrick Stewart, can I hug you? Because he was treating it as if he was seeing his father.
He did. Yeah, I've heard that. I thought it was a lovely story.
Yeah.
Because there's a real warmth and an emotion in that. See, it's very, very believable.
Yeah.
Like, bearing in mind as well that Picard had sent Hugh Borg back into the collective again to hopefully change them with humanity once he's back in the collective, and they had become his cube ended up being severed from the collective. I remember later on, and I think it was Series 6 of the Next Generation, some of them had joined Lore, and he was fighting with another set of small Borg to fight against Lore and the ones that he was controlling. So in some ways, Picard had actually shafted Hugh, but Hugh that by this time I think he probably has nearly been the one that's most successful getting his humanity back, because you see complete compassion in the man. There's not that coldness that you would get with Seven of Nine.
That's true.
Yeah, Hugh's very much, he is human. In fact, he's nearly even more human than Picard.
Yes.
Because Picard's still incensed, and it takes you to actually walk him through and to show him that the wonderful work that's being done, for Picard to do a full 180 from, I hate the bastards, look what they've done to me, to, my goodness, they're victims.
Yeah, because
that
see
was quite a part.
This really, if you think about this entire episode, it's been really big for pulling big emotional responses from the viewer and creating quite emotionally charged scenes. Really, this has been the biggest episode to do that. And you've seen that. I mean, again, you see that Picard. You've got to think about this logically. If this was reality, this is a man who has been kidnapped, he's been tortured, all these horrible things. So he's going to have PTSD. And of course, when he was captain, he wouldn't have really had time to deal with his PTSD. When he was admiral, he wouldn't have time, because his entire thing is, you've got to keep going. As bad as it is, I've got this crew to look after, I've got this stuff to do. And now is probably the only time he's really getting to face it. What I love is the fact that when they're talking about Soji, and he's going, oh yes, I know who Soji is, I know who this person is. Oh yeah, this weird Romulan guy who I think was a spy showed up on the show.
It was kind of a throwaway comment. Really, oh yeah, I think he's a spy. Well, could you not have looked after Soji maybe a wee bit more, or given her a clue? I actually love the reclamation end that Hugh is in charge of, because it's like a scene from 10 years younger, where they're all getting Botox and fillers, all these. Well, only it's not a great job, to be perfectly honest. You know, they're getting a complete fashion makeover. Like, it's a whole Trinity and Susanna thing going on in this particular area. I still can't believe that in the 21st century that they really couldn't give these people better plastic surgery than they have. I mean, they're very Mickey Rourke looking.
You don't mean young, handsome Mickey Rourke. You mean Mickey Rourke now, where I think you and I have discussed this, haven't we? Where unfortunately Mickey doesn't look like Mickey anymore.
No, doesn't even look like Mickey Mouse. I don't know what the fuck he looks like anymore, but that man is. But it is. That's why the Borg probably look better, have less spare parts.
Well, as I once said, if I had my picture taken with Mickey Rourke and showed it to somebody and just said, who is this? They'd probably be absolutely nonplussed.
Recognisable in Iron Man. You have to sort of look at who is this boy? He looks vaguely recognisable. Oh yeah, that's Mickey Rourke. I understand. Yeah. Or the parts of Mickey Rourke.
It's a shame. It is a shame because, yeah. But anyway, we're getting a bit. We'll discuss this later on. So we cut to Narek and his paedophile girl. Oh, Narek the paedophile and his little girlfriend. In the room, and he's saying basically, you've got false memory implants. I'll take you to a special place. The more I think about this, the more creepy this sounds. Actually, it's like, get into my van, little girl.
Yes. Would you like a sweetie?
Yeah.
Look at all the comics that I have. You know, And he's got that damn box again going. Honest, it's like offering a kid a toy, isn't it, really?
The box.
We have such stuff to show you.
But we then cut back to the as you said, the real sort of, well, the cool sort of like, I don't know, surgical section, isn't it, where they're doing work on the poor former assimilated Borg people. And you are right, it's an interesting one because these people all have been severely damaged and they can obviously only do so much repair work on them. It is a bit like, in some cases, they've been to a Turkish hair transplant clinic where it's sort of right but not at the same time, the work that's been done. But you do see, like you said, the turn in Picard's attitude. You see more of the Picard of old, I guess, actually, the sort of like the more liberal, to use the term like bleeding heart liberal.
He's less the Daily Mail reader that he has become recently. As people get older, they get xenophobic and start reading the Daily Mail.
But he is quite well, you see the softer side of him, don't you? The more the humanity, as they would say of him, the more willing to help people. And he even thanks, Hugh for this, because he obviously, it's made him feel better, restored his faith, and probably made him feel a bit more relaxed. And then a great point he makes is, well, if you are someone who can turn around and say to people, the Borg, it's, they're free and we're helping them, what a wonderful thing it'd be if you would be the person who was able to do this. And Picard seems surprised, but I see the logic of that. It's like getting someone who's, say, been kidnapped by terrorists to then who've been released to say, well, actually, we should try and work these people. We should try and help them. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, again, that's Hugh showing his humanity. He's the Borg with a heart. Even whenever he was in those early TNG series, he was the Borg with a heart. You couldn't help but love him. And as an adult, a much older person now, he's still the same lovable character that he was. Actually, I was absolutely thrilled that he was back again. Because I think I said last time that I was a bit worried that these characters were only going to appear briefly each time, like Seven, because I still don't think she'll be back again.
No, I don't think she will.
No, I thought we only had Hugh for 10 minutes, and we've had him playing a very important part, actually, in this episode, setting the scene, explaining things, really showing what the problems and the prejudices that the XBs suffer from, because people fear them. They don't believe that there's nothing now wrong with them, and they're being used as well. They're being used as slaves, effectively, whenever you see them on the ship. Because there is one scene where Hugh says that we swapped the Borg queen, and our queen is now Romulan. Yes,
I like that. I thought that was a good little line. That was an interesting telling moment for them. Because it jumped from that just to like I call it the exposition point, because they have Raffi and the captain having a chat, and he's explaining where they're up to. I'm doing this as a very quick throwaway. It seems a bit unfair, but she's sort of saying, what do they want with a synth? Why would they want a synth? So it's just it's a move the thing forward moment. But as you said, he does give her a cup of coffee. So,
bless him. I know. I think I brought you coffee. Big fucking deal, mate. See, in the 21st century, you have to get up off your ass, pour water into the kettle, and heat it up. All you had to do was coffee, hot, black, whatever it is, and hand it over. Not quite the same. Not the touching gesture it is in the 21st century.
Yeah, load up the coffee maker, listen to it percolating.
We burn more calories in this century doing the task than obviously they do in the 24th.
So it gets a bit more interesting. So we obviously see that Narek, as he's dragging his child. I'm going to be slightly off on the terms, but we're going to refer to Soji now as his child bride, as he's dragging around the ship.
Yes, definitely. It's most inappropriate that he knows he's been having sex with somebody who's 3 years old.
Yeah, I mean, we've just gone even more pervy than normal on this series. But
that's more disturbing, I think, than even pervy than we've got.
Actually, you're right, yeah. It's just sick, basically. So, yeah, we've gone into the sick, disturbing section of the show. But we get to see Narek being, between us, I can't take Narek seriously when he tries to be a badass, because he looks like about, like 6 stone wet through sort of thing. And he's squaring up to this big security guard guy going, well, I outrank you. You've got to let me and Soji in. I don't find him particularly threatening, though.
No, he's just, I don't find him attractive at all. I don't even like to look at him.
I can't help you on this, Joanne.
I know this. I don't hate him like Agnes, but I just find him so it's just in a different way. And his sister should have been the one seducing Soji. I think he'd have fallen her to the end of the earth if it had been her, but not now.
Honestly, yeah, would that not have created such an amazing different dynamic if that had been the case?
Oh, yes.
Think how different that would have been.
Yeah, then Narek would have been saying, no, don't do that. Go easy on her.
But that would have made, to me, that would have made a lot more sense. That would have been a lot more interesting, because putting aside the, I'm a man, the lesbian thing, well, I am going to put that to one side. We're not going to discuss that. But looking at the fact that the sister is this real badass character who's manipulative and they take no prisoner, that would have been a lot more interesting if you then had Narek as this guy who was a bit softer, but in fact, the whole thing would have made more sense. To see Narek as like a diplomat at Starfleet, who's not this sort of obvious sort of tough guy sort of thing, that would have worked, I think, as a character swap. That could have been a lot more interesting.
I'm actually wondering, is his character as weak as it is because he's going to flip and join Picard later on? And that's why he appears weak. I wonder, is he going to go on the run from the Romulans?
Ooh, Joanne, are we doing a bit more of our soothsaying future prediction stuff that could be right now?
This is what I'm wondering, because he has fallen in love with her. In fact, whenever they get into that weird, trippy out room, he does tell her his proper name, which is something that I have written down, but I can't flip and pronounce. So I'm not even going to try doing it. But he doesn't. Again, he's maybe the wrong actor for the job.
Partly can see why they've cast him, actually, discussing it. He's got a pleasant face. He's got a kind face. And as an actor, if you're going back to the sort of character he's played in the past, if you look at Penny Dreadful when he played Victor Frankenstein, he was a pleasant character in that. He wasn't a particularly nasty character. So I think it's probably the fact that he's got a kind face, sort of kind eyes, so he's not going to be seen as threatening, which makes sense to why it appealed to Soji, I guess. But I think we could have had a much more interesting dynamic if it had been the sister seducing Soji. Because Soji is seen as a bit of a weak character herself. So if you had this sort of powerful person taking charge in the shape of the sister, I think that could have been quite an interesting change.
Yeah, we should have written this, really, shouldn't we? It would have been a lot darker in places. Be no lights. I mean, it'd be really dark in places.
Yeah, it would. In fact, you and I really should team up and write something. I think we could create something amazing. But that's one for a different conversation.
I think it might be. I don't know whether anything is X-rated anymore. 18 plus, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, we'd have it on some. Our initial thing would end up on some weird XXX channel somewhere, only being seen by.
We're in Pornhub.
Yeah. They probably do need writers, John. We might be onto something. Would
you imagine directing that? Oh, you said there, oh. No, you need to go, more emphasis.
Yeah, and you went, oh, you need to,
Exactly. And that knot is shit. That shibari is terrible. You need to go back and learn how to tie properly. They're going to get rid of that. I mean, let's face it. I think Narek's sister, Narissa, would be brilliant at shibari. She would have Soji hanging from that ceiling in about 2 minutes flat with the most exquisite knots.
Definitely.
Yeah. It definitely should have been the sister seducing Soji, because who loves it? I mean, let's face it, we always love a bad lad as women, and we like bad women. So it would have been certainly a much more exciting few episodes of Picard than it has been recently.
But I do think it would have just made a much different run. I think it could have been a much better way of doing that power play. We can discuss that a little bit more towards the end in some more detail what we would do, because we're digressing. But anyway, we're into like the weird. We're definitely into a 1990s disco or some sort of weird disco or music video set, because they're in there. They've got Narek and Soji in the strange room where somehow the idea is that you can unlock her mind and find out what she's dreaming about. And it's a bit like they've gone Inception style, haven't they? Where it's like, think about it and you can see things that you can't normally see in your dream. And tell me all about it. And the dream within a dream sort of thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, you've just said about it being a 90s disco. All I can envision now is Saturday Night Fever. And so that room and the lights and the music,
Yep.
I think I'm about to start singing Starsky and Hutch, I've just realised. And Night Fever, and the two of them danced across the floor. Now, again, that would have been much more interesting instead of the weird hippie trip thing that we get going on.
Well, it also went really 90s disco, and it kept, going to the hot sister, played by Peyton List, in like looking at a computer thing and talking to Narek through his earpiece. And true to form, we then cut to Picard and Hugh. And Joanne, we've been right all along. We know we're always right when it comes to this stuff. We do see the future because clearly, Soji's room is a student room. They go in, it's a complete shit tip. There's stuff thrown around everywhere, and there's weird drawings and pictures everywhere. So to me,
drawings and pictures, yeah. There's nothing worse when people put something up on Facebook and they say, "Do you like my art? Isn't it really good?" And you're thinking, "That's fucking shit." I can't tell them their artwork shit. But that would be walking into Soji's room. You'd be going, "Oh, I really like your art." Can't fucking draw. She got that up.
I mean, in Soji's defense, in her defense, Joanne, the picture that is up that is a drawing of some sort looks like something a child would draw. And as we've now learned, she's only a child. So,
Yeah. She is only. I actually thought they were drawings from toddlers. And then I read somewhere that actually, when you look at them, everything is it's a jewel of everything. There's the same two images in the drawings. And I actually looked at the screenshots and thought, yeah, but they're two really shit things in one drawing. I still can't make out what they're supposed to be. But that is definitely a toddler. You'd have to go and say, "Soji, tidy your room up." "I don't want to." You have to tidy your room up or you're not going to get to watch the cartoons.
Yeah. No cereal for you either.
Nope. No more E-numbers. Nothing at all. You're not getting anything sugar. No chocolate. No whatever it is small children need at that age.
That's what I wonder. If Soji is like 37 months, if you give her a load of sugar, do you think she just goes hyper and starts like bouncing all over the place?
I suppose she kind of does back up in the other room because the guys are able to. The workout, Hugh says she's here somewhere, but we can't see her. And Picard, that somebody's actually masking her signal.
And it goes to like so they cut back and she's like within her dream, and then she can't see her father's face, which I don't know who her father's going to turn out to be. I'm assuming Maddox, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, yes, that's an interesting one because just to skip ahead slightly, his face is blurry when you eventually see it because it's quite clever the way they do it. He walks her through. Push through the instance where your father shouts at you, "Stay with the moment."
Yeah.
Look outside, look up, which was a smart thing. Look beyond the orchids so that you can see. And she sees, of course, the equivalent of herself. And we discussed the foreshadowing earlier. That's her as a doll lying on a table. She's Pinocchio.
Yeah. Well, it's a weird. I mean, again, to me, my perverted mind just went to some sort of weird, creepy, like mannequin sex doll. But clearly, I have problems.
That reminds me of lore again. There's lore in a drawer. It was a lore drawer. Not B4. It was the B4 drawer.
B4 in the drawer.
The B4 drawer. And there's Soji. It caught up in the same sort of bits as B4 was. Yeah, it's all about rebuilding and taking apart this episode. Breaking down the mind to take it to the next level, breaking the Borg down for parts to take them to the next level, breaking Picard down to help him heal again.
Correct.
Yeah, it's all about deconstruction to make something new. Yeah. Wow, it's very deep for me. I hadn't
We've gone deep. We've gone very deep. Are we going to resurface? Let us hope so. So obviously, they get the information they need, and Narek basically gives her a kiss goodbye. But prior to that, you see his sisters. But I mean, the brains of this entire operation is the sister, isn't it? She's the one who's puppet metaphor, pulling all the strings.
And as usual, watching them dirtily from the corner. It's always watching that. She likes to.
She's a dirty cook. Narek leaves her in the room, and Narek, I was a bit disappointed in this because Narek comes out. I know that prior discussion about him, he's nice, kind faced, so Soji falls for him. He goes out the room and he's set up his little. In fact, the more I think about it, this box really is like the box out of Hellraiser because it opens and horrible things happen. But with regard to Narek, he comes out the room and he starts getting upset, and I think it would have been more interesting to see him being a real hard-faced bastard and not given a damn about a dying.
Yeah, I just felt like saying prick. He's just a dick at a particular point. And you've no sympathy for him. He's allegedly killing the woman that he loves. But you can't feel sorry for him. You feel sorry for Soji because she's in trouble. He went down in my estimation even more. I just find him very weak.
But that's the thing. Yeah, he does come across as weak. If he'd come across as completely hard-faced, you'd be like, wow. That shows that he's just been a two-faced manipulative git the whole time. So they're trying to gas her. The Hellraiser little whatever, I can't remember the cube, I can't remember what it's called in Hellraiser, but their version of it opens up and starts gassing her, and she gets activated, as they say. So clearly they have given her sugar and a lot of E numbers because she throws a temper tantrum.
Oh, my terrible 3. Yeah, she breaks that floor up and starts punching her way down through the levels. And lucky for her, Hugh at that point is able to find her on the tracking device, and they run towards where they believe she's going to come out. Now, that was a great coincidence. Okay, I know we need coincidences to work, but it was a hell of a coincidence that the two people to find her are Hugh and Jean-Luc, who has a wee bit convincing actually to explain to her, look, I knew your sister. It'll be okay. You need to come with me. Oh, one thing I forgot to say actually when they were in the room, very clever. Narek, I'll give him credit because when he asked her to look up, she describes twin planets, twin blood moon, or twin blood red planets with lots of lightning around them. And the sister asked the computer to do a search on those parameters. So I actually thought that was quite clever. And I think as well that his sister thought highly of him. He had gone up in her estimate after her doubting him so much that she went, actually, he was right. Methods were correct. I don't think she'd be happy about him crying.
He needs a good slap to sort himself out. One little throwaway bit I really liked is when Hugh and Picard are going to find Soji. They're cutting through a corridor, and somebody actually goes, "Locutus?"
Wasn't that was chilling? That bit. That was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Because I'm not sure whether you hear it first, and then you go, no, I really did hear say, because Picard looks back slightly, and that was the clever bit. They didn't stay with that moment. They moved on because it wasn't a time for Picard to find out who had recognised him, and I'm really hoping we find out who that Borg was at a later date.
I mean, I just think it was absolutely brilliant little way of doing it to show that actually he has, people remember him as that, as being Locutus, because up to that point you'd not really seen anybody else say it, but I just thought it was a great little thing. And I just thought it was a brilliant little thing to include. I mean, you're right, it'd be great if they went back to whether or not, I don't know. But they find Soji, and Picard is imploring to her, come on, trust me, come with me. I knew your father, which I don't know if that exactly motivated me if I was Soji, because she's finding all this weird stuff out. But obviously, maybe she's just thinking better to go with these people than be stuck in this hellhole where I don't know what's going on, and people have been trying to kill me.
Yeah, I think maybe the necklace actually convinced her as well. Well, you'd be left with two thoughts. I can go with him and be safe, or my sister has gone with him and he's murdered her and taken her necklace as a keepsake.
But I guess she trusts Hugh, doesn't she? And Hugh's there, so she trusts Hugh. Now, they then go into this little room that turns out to be something called the Queen Cell, which is obviously where the Borg Queen lives. I was really, really hoping that Alice Krieg would appear at this point, but clearly not.
There's rumours. Was it you telling me that there's rumours that she might appear at some point? That she's been thinking?
From what I understand, she has filmed either for this or the next series something. So something is in the offing. It could well be for the next series, but I'm pretty damn sure from what I've heard of people that she will be playing a part. Now, the thing is that if they go into the Queen's cell, it seems that it answers a lot of questions, actually, because within First Contact, like, Picard makes the point to the Borg Queen, he goes, but I saw the cube that I was on with you when I was Locutus destroying. She's going, you think in such like 3D terms or something. So obviously every Borg cube has somewhere that a version of the Borg Queen, she must be able to just move her mind from one to the other, but has a little place they can stay in. But it even has like a place where they can beam out, which is that was really
to use. Yeah, it was really good as well, because again, that was a throwback actually to Voyager. That was something that thing that they were able to use to beam out, and it was a maximum of 40,000 light years that Soji confirms. That was actually appeared in an early Voyager episode. They were on a planet, and the Sicarians had that technology, and the Voyager crew wanted to use it. But I don't think it was able to leap that far. But for the fact that it's able to go 40,000 light years, they must have, the Borg must have actually, when they were in the Delta Quadrant, must have assimilated the Sicarians and improved their technology, because it was much more far-reaching than it had been in Voyager.
Interesting. So I love the fact that Picard is blatant, has expressly said to everybody, including Elnor, you cannot follow me. I have to be on my own. I'm not interested that you swore a blood allegiance sort of thing to me. And I've gone a bit Klingon, but you've sworn this allegiance to me. It ain't happening. Don't come with me. And then the captain, it cuts back to the ship, and the captain goes, "Where's the kid?"
Okay, now that was a weird plot thing. Would he know how to actually operate the transportation devices? And he just seems to drop down out of his garbage chute somewhere in the exact Picard was.
True.
Yeah, how the hell did he know where Picard was? Because Raffi says on board that comms have been dropped and they don't know where he is. They haven't been able to get in contact with him. They believe he was in trouble. And Tickle Me Elmo is able to track him down to that exact spot that even the Romulans don't know that exists on. So that was the equivalent of the EMH in the last episode. That was a wee bit of a leap, and I mean more than the leap that Tickle Me Elmo did down from the ceiling to rescue them.
Do they call them a MacGuffin? I think that's what they're called, aren't they? Where it doesn't make much sense, but it moves the thing forward. I also noticed that, as I've got this on in front of me, Picard suddenly looks less knackered. He suddenly looks better. He doesn't look as exhausted. Seriously, in the close-up, he suddenly looks he looks a lot better and a lot less frail suddenly.
I genuinely got worried at one point that the man wasn't going to survive the episode.
But yeah, he suddenly looks a lot better. And he basically, because like Elnor's done his stuff like beheaded people, and basically they go to Picard and come on Brain, come work with me. So she go, and they do actually go to transport out. They walk through, which the whole thing of walking through also makes me think of a very old Star Trek episode, City on the Edge of Forever, where they can walk through the time barrier thing that takes them into the past.
That was a Harlan Corbin, is it? That was the writer.
Harlan Ellison, maybe?
Harlan, yes, that's it. Harlan Corbin, I think, was a comic book writer later on. Yes, that was just an amazingly good episode. Now, here's the thing. Tickle Me Elmo won't go with them, and it would have made more sense for him to have got into the transporter. He's left with poor Hugh. How the hell he's going to explain all this? Because he's trying to hide that room and has asked actually for Elmo's help to secure the room before the Romulans find it. How are they going to explain Elmo? What are they going to do with Elmo? He's been left on this artifact with no way of getting off. He's under Romulan restrictions. He is Romulan, so they'd be quite entitled to sentence him to death, whatever way because it's their law, and he's Romulan, and he has to abide by their rules.
It's true.
Are you ever going to see him again? What's going to happen to Hugh? All the good work that Hugh's done, can he get out of it? Now, he's a Federation citizen.
Yeah.
Possibly the worst they could do to him is kick him off. But could the Romulans use it then to...
would it be an act of war?
That's what I'm wondering, if we were saying that them sailing their ship into Romulan space was an act of war. There's the death of Romulans. Pretty severe. I just hope they actually deal with the ramifications of that and don't throw it away just for the sake of the story. Certainly I appreciate maybe the next episode, because they've been beamed to another planet, and the La Serena is on their way to get them. But I hope it appears, if not the next episode, the episode after that, to explain what happened to these two characters.
I mean, I do love the way, and you're right, we do. It's going to be very interesting to see how they pull themselves out of that one. But I love how the Eleanor ends with his line of "Please, my friends, choose to live." Well, you know, shit's going to get real.
That's the Star Trek version of Terminator. Come with me if you want to.
So as the episode went, I enjoyed it a lot for the emotional. As you said, it was about the whole thing of how did he put it? Someone being taken apart, put together, and having to move forward emotionally. How did you find it, Joanne? What would you give it out of 10?
I thought it started very slowly. I thought it started very meh again. I was certainly a lot happier with the ending, apart from that plot hole that we talked about. I would say maybe a 7. It's still gripping me as much. The series still isn't reaching the heights that I was really hoping it would. I'm a wee bit worried. I still do wonder the fact that it's dropping in these 40, 45 minutes episodes once a week. Is that crippling it? Because it's not, I don't think it's strong enough to stand as a weekly episode. There's not enough going on in it. It's chopped and changing. As you'd said before, it's a possibility that it's been chopped to bring it down into this much tighter time frame. An extra 15 minutes on that program would have been great. You would have more time to get to know the characters, to develop them, to develop the storyline. A lot more time to move it forward. 45 minutes is nothing.
It's true. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'll probably again give it a 7 as you gave it. I think from a purely emotionally driven piece, I think it was brilliant. The fact that it looked at the PTSD impact upon Picard, the emotional impact of the problems that Raffi's experienced, I think were very good, very well driven pieces, and it probably explores again what would happen in, let's be honest, a war setting, what impact it would have on people. I do think, as I called it, the relationship or whatever that's going to happen between Agnes and the captain seemed a bit forced, a bit by the numbers.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much needed.
Yeah, do you know, I'm actually where they're trying to do a Han Solo Princess Leia type thing going on there, because he's the generic hero. He's the rogue, he's rapscallion, good looking. He'll say things and to appear that he doesn't care, but really he's got a heart of gold. Well, she doesn't come across as Leia to me, but
no,
just a romance in space.
In that element, it would have probably made more sense for him to have a relationship with Raffi, though.
Yeah, though I think that would have been so damaging for Raffi, because they've been friends for so. I don't think she could handle anything at the moment. That's what I like about her. Actually, she did the burnt out cop bit, but she didn't do the emotional woman bit. Agnes did that. Oh, I'm an emotional woman, therefore I need to shag a man. Raffi didn't do that. She was an awful lot more, and she was drunk, and maybe her inhibitions would have gone, but she didn't let that drive her. She's caught up on her own grief. She's going through a series of grief before how she's dealing with it through addiction.
Well, I think we've probably hit the best point for ending our review of the episode. I think it's going to be very interesting to see, because I think there's only 4 or 5 more episodes left, so it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. So once again, Joanne, I'm going to say a huge thank you for joining me. And thanks, Jim. I hope we will not be disappointed with the next episode.
I hope not, because I feel like I'm coming on here recently sort of putting a real downer on it, but I just have such high hopes for it. I really do, and they have the best captain ever in Star Trek, and they just need to remember that. It's okay showing the frailty of somebody, but you need to have your hero back.
I couldn't think of any better way to end it. So on that note, I think we've been talking enough Codswallop. So I am James.
And I'm Joanne.
And we look forward to speaking again on the wonderful topic of Picard next episode. Thank you very much.
Thanks, folks.